Are you in a position where you're defined by your age and that's limiting you to pursue a dream or goal you want to accomplish? The More Than Your Age podcast is about having conversations with women who fully live their lives without being dictated or defined by their age. This is a space to encourage women who feel blocked to pursue a dream or goal based on their life circumstances. Welcome to the More Than Your Age podcast. I am your host, Erica Pasbard. Let's start living life fully and become more than your age. Hi there, my name is Erica and I have a podcast that is called the More Than Your Age podcast. I would love to have you listen. I started a YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is mainly all about the podcast. I, as of now, am planning to share other videos that can hopefully encourage and inspire you. So why did I start a podcast? Well, I never had any intentions of starting a podcast. I actually had a friend say, "Hey, Erica, you should start a podcast. I think you would be really good at it." And I was like, what would I even have a podcast about? At the time, and I still am, I was very interested in like clean beauty products and clean living and all of that stuff. And she's like, have a podcast about clean beauty products. And I was like, I care about that stuff, but if I did a podcast about that, I think that would be really boring. And so she's like, well, I don't know. You should consider it. Well, simultaneously, I had this idea in my mind of this whole being more than your age. All the time since I was an adult, really, women always use their age in a negative light. So except for turning 21, like 18 and 21, like that's exciting. But then once you get past that, like 25, oh my gosh, quarter life, which is so funny. It's so young. But we're all there. Or, oh my gosh, I'm not married yet. Or, oh my gosh, I don't have any kids yet. They have kids. Or when I turn 30, I'm not where I thought I would be at 30 years old. I just turned 40. Oh my goodness, like I'm not married. I don't have kids. I'm not at the job. I'm not at the level that I thought I would be at. Or, now I'm getting older. My body hurts. I'm in so much pain. And so it's all of this negativity about our age and getting older and not doing things that we want to do because of our age, or if we were given a certain life situation where something has been really hard. And it could be something, for women who aren't married at whatever age that they are. A lot of women desire to be married. And so they can say like, oh my goodness, I'm not married, so I can't get the house, or I can't get this degree, or I can't have this life that I wanted that I see my other friends who are married and do have kids have. And don't get me wrong, like I was there before and I know, and it's hard, and there are things that you want that maybe you don't have for whatever reason. And so I just would see these situations and think, okay, so no matter whatever life we're given it for a reason. So what are we going to do with it? Are we going to complain about it and let that stop us from doing something truly amazing, whether it's amazing for yourself, whether it's amazing for someone else, or for those who do follow the Lord, whether it's for His glory and His purpose? And so what can we do that is powerful and impactful instead of just focusing and putting our eyes on ourselves all the time? So this idea came to be of being more than your age, more than your life situation. What are we going to do about it? And so I just kept thinking about it. And I was like, I could write a blog, but I didn't really want to blog. And I thought I could write a book, and maybe I still will write a book. But at the time I was like, no. So it was just sitting there, and I wrote down more than your age, more than your age, more than your age. And then I would see this friend, my friend Angie, and she would say, Erica, have you thought about your podcast yet? And I was like, no, I haven't. She goes, okay, I still think you should consider it. And probably a few months later, I was sitting there thinking about my friend telling me about a podcast and my More Than Your Age. And then it clicked. And I was like, that's it. The podcast will be about women, talking to women who are pursuing things, pursuing goals, regardless of their age. And I will interview women who are living these lives to the fullest, whether they've had a really hard life situation happen to them, or they are just pursuing the things that they want to, and they're not letting their age dictate them. And so that's kind of how the podcast began. And my hope with this, and it's been around for a little bit, but my hope with the podcast is to really inspire you, to inspire women who really are limited to do the things that they want to do because of what goes on in here. And that they would hear these stories of other women and realize, no, I can do this. No, it doesn't matter. I'm 25, 35,
47, 68, 61, whatever it may be. No, I did lose my child and it's hard. Don't get me wrong. But what am I going to do with that? Or there's so many other things. I've had a few women on the show who, one woman lost her husband at 37, was a widow and with 4 kids. And so what did she do with that? Her story is incredible. It is painful and hard, and I would never want that to happen to her. But the way that God is using her story is inspiring so many other women. I love that. There's a woman who was a flight attendant and had always wanted to be a pilot, and decided eventually at age 39, she became a pilot for an airlines. And so she's doing that. And so these just little stories. And for myself, I was a school teacher, and then I worked in human resources in the education system, and I loved it. And my plan was to work that ladder. And in my personal situation, there were goals that I wanted, and maybe it'll still happen at some point, but I wasn't able to get to those goals. And at the same time too, I had children and multiple children, and kind of thought, I think I want to stay home with my kids. Talked to my husband about it, and I was like, I don't know if we can financially do this, because for a while I was the primary breadwinner. And while my husband was working on his business, and he was like, hey, if this is what you want to do, I will quit my job. Or not, I will quit my job. But he said, I will work at a grocery store. I will do whatever else I need to do to make money. He's a how can I guy. So instead of saying like, I can't do this, or we don't have the money for that, he always thinks, well, how can we get the money for that? What can we do in order to make these dreams happen for us? And so he told me, hey, if this is what you want to do, we'll make it work. And the day that I quit, I did not tell him I was quitting. Told my company I was going to work with them for a few more months. But the day that I quit, I woke up and I was just like, I think I need to quit my job and stay home with my kids, because I knew that if I didn't do it, I would have regretted not doing it down the line. And I always look at things of like, okay, when I retire, when I'm old, however, years down the line, will I regret not doing this thing that I want to do? And if the answer is yes, I will regret it, then I need to go for it and lean into that. And so why do I bring this up? I was fearful that people would say, you're not using your brain, which they've said that. They would say, oh, when you want to get back into the workforce, you will be so many years removed, so you're going to be lower on the totem pole, which is possible. And I was just worried and worried and worried. And I was like, I'm going to be older. There's going to be so many people younger than me that are going to be more qualified and higher educated. And that is possible. But through all of these interviews that I've had with these women, now I'm like, I'm going to be fine. Maybe it'll be hard to find a job. Maybe the podcast will take off and this will be what I'm able to do financially as well. Maybe there's other things that I'm going to want to do. But you know what? One, I trust in the Lord no matter what. And if I go through a hard time, I don't want to, but if I go through a hard time, it's going to be for a reason. So I have to remember that. And 2, because of these women's stories, I know I am going to be okay. I will be able to do it. I will be able to endure. If that means I have to start over and be low man on the totem pole at age 45 and then work my way back to whatever it is that my goal is to be, that is okay. Because I have been so encouraged by all of these women whose stories prove that age, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And so I want to invite you to listen to the podcast. Come and join. You can watch the episodes. I do more of my editing on the actual audio podcast, but I will have video if you want to see the people that I interview. I would love to have you. If you feel limited by your season in life, by your age, you feel like you are stuck in the job that you're in and that you don't know what skills you have to be able to do something else. If you feel like you're too scared to go and try things alone because of fear of what other people may think, please listen. I would love for these women's stories to encourage you.